were in favor of the plan. In Ward 7, home to RFK, and neighboring Ward 8, that support jumps to 63%. At the east of the Anacostia, a whopping 74% of residents there support this new deal at RFK Stadium site. Wards 3 and 4 support a little bit more divided, with 46% in favor.
All right, these numbers mark a major shift from recent years. Back in 2022, only 30% of D.C. residents supported using tax dollars for a new stadium.
I think the X factor here is that it's RFK.
Right,
Do you know what I mean? The nostalgic value of it. So, okay, that's what D.C. residents think. Joining us this morning to help us take a deeper look is D.C. Deputy Mayor Nina Albert with Wisdom right now.
All right. Thank you, ladies. All right. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in with us early this morning. So we want to talk about this project. We're talking about $1 billion that people are talking about that will be passed on to the taxpayers in some form or fashion. Why should the people in Washington, D.C. say, hey, this is okay, this is a good deal, even though we're going to get charged more with our taxes?
Well, I just want to be clear. We're not raising any taxes, and we're not charging more for taxes.
Right.
So very important point. But the reason that we should all be really excited about this is because RFK campus is something that the Mayor Bowser has worked on for over a decade to get into the hands of DC government so that we could transform it into a mixed-use neighborhood.
Right.
Now we have this unique opportunity. It was almost like the confluence of things coming together, where we have a new owner at the Commanders, and the Commanders, after they determined and worked with us and worked across the region, determined that they want to come back home to RFK. And so at this moment in time, when economic conditions are uncertain, to have a unique team user and an anchor and a major private investment of $2.7 billion to unlock the opportunity at the campus for a mixed-use neighborhood, I think really is exactly the type of investment we need at this moment.
And you talked about jobs. Jobs is a key part of this because along with redevelopment comes some of those jobs, and especially in the times that we're dealing with right now with people who are losing their jobs. So that is a key component as well, and something people should get excited about.
Yeah, the thing is that the timeline for the project is immediate. If it's going to pass council, which we believe and hope that it will, then we're talking about immediately springing into action. That means hiring people who are professionals in the building services, contractors, and all the jobs that they create. And then once the stadium opens, all of the jobs affiliated not only with managing and operating the stadium, but also think of all the media. We're in a media studio.
Right.
You know, all the television, media, communications, entertainment, because we have asked for a roofed stadium, which means that we can activate it up to 200 days out of the year. That's incredible long-term job opportunity.
Right. And you know, when we talk roof, could mean Super Bowl. Usually that means Super Bowl. I know we're not there yet. I know, fingers crossed, right?
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. How do we ensure that the taxpayers don't get stuck with a big bill on this? I know you said this is not going to impact the pocketbooks, but how do you make sure that they don't get stuck with something? Like in Prince George's County, they said, oh, we're going to do all this development many years ago when they moved out to Northwest Stadium, and it actually never came. I talked to you earlier about what they did in St. Louis. The Rams moved there, stayed there for many years, then they moved out. Now they got an empty dome. How does D.C. make sure that doesn't happen here?
Well, I'll say we'll look back on our track record here in the district. I can't speak to other regions and what the dynamics were there. But in this region, we built Nats Park when it was surrounded by almost nothing. I mean, there were warehouses. And today, in a very short period of time, you can see all of the development around it. The other thing that I'll say is this piece of property is right on the Anacostia waterfront. And the district in 20 years alone has delivered not only the yards, but also the wharf. And so you can see the excitement of investors to be on the water because it's such a unique site. And then, of course, there's the sheer investment of the Commanders into the stadium and our investment in infrastructure. And we have learned from experience that delivering mixed-use development kind of in a concentrated way with the stadium is what's going to really catalyze the entire development.
Right, and it's also, there's also talk about it revitalizing more than just that area. You talked about the development that could go on there once they get this done by 2030 and everything that leads up to that. But also there's talk about development that could push further into the downtown area because people will be coming there and then spilling over in a good way into the downtown area.
Well, to tell you the truth, the kind of spillover that we're really anticipating is along 8th Street Northeast, which is a major retail corridor in
Right.
DC that needs another, it's a long corridor, so it needs another shot in the arm. And then also all of the job opportunities and new business opportunities in Ward 7 and 8. To have an anchor in Ward 7 and be able to catalyze job opportunities, business and entrepreneurial opportunities on both sides of the river, that's really what the promise of this project is.
And you're also talking about removing some of the barriers that some of the businesses in that area have faced by doing this project as well.
Yeah. Mayor Bowser's growth agenda really has 3 parts to the pillar. One is to invest in downtown. 2 is to diversify our economy by investing in sports and entertainment and technology. But the third, in order for us to continue to compete and to be successful and replace those jobs in the future, we have to make it easier for investors to do business.
Right.
And so we're looking at ways to sort of cut the red tape, if you will, and make sure that businesses continue to have strong confidence here.
And people have also asked us, they're like, oh, we want to make sure we don't get moved out and all this kind of things because we don't want to lose our houses for whatever reason. Fair concern, or we're not there yet?
I think that we have proven with the production of new homes that we can keep the cost of housing flat. And so we have lots of new housing production in our future, including in downtown, where we think that we can add at minimum 15,000 new residents, but also at RFK, for example. So housing production is really what keeps housing prices under control. And so we think that this is the path towards growth and will not be a path towards displacement.
Right. All right. Before I let you go, we're going to ask you this question because this has been in the headlines all morning long about ICE and what they've been going around to the businesses in D.C. Do you have any information about that or reaction or response to what's happening right now?
Yeah, I mean, we don't think that this is good for business, first of all, but most importantly, we are monitoring what is going on, and we are the District of Columbia, and we will follow any sort of legal directives and work with ICE. But honestly, we don't believe that this is great for business, and we hope that we can move forward.
Right. And last thing is another one, Initiative 82. That's been in the headlines as well.
Initiative 82 is a complicated but uncomplicated issue, actually. And what I say to people is put yourself in the seat of the diner. Right? The conversation around dining now has changed. You look at your bill, it's really expensive, shockingly so. And the other thing is you're constantly questioning that service fee. And so your conversation with the waiter is not about how great the meal was or what they could do better, but it's, wait a minute, is this included? Is this not included? So we're trying to eliminate the confusion, and we also want to put, we want the dining experience to be good. We want our businesses, which have there's been a survey that, 2/3 of businesses, restaurants in particular, are looking at cutting back staff, reducing their hours, or reducing their expenses in some other kind of way. That's the impact of I-82 and other factors going on. So we're just trying to make sure that our restaurants, our small restaurants, our large restaurants, all of them continue to provide a great dining experience for our people.
All right. Well, thank you very much. A wealth of information here. We're talking about RFK, Initiative 82, and everything else going on in Washington, D.C. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you coming in earlier this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Every morning on